What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. So, like I said in my previous video, I have seen Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, and I'm telling you what, I'm a fan of this movie. I think it's pretty darn good. So yeah, there you go. That's my overall opinion. Now I'm going to jump into a little plot summary. So, this movie focuses on Billy's younger brother Ricky, and he is in this psychiatric hospital. He's being interviewed by this psychiatrist named Dr. Bloom, and Ricky is recalling the events of the first film. He's recalling Billy's killing spree. And then, Ricky is recalling these murders that he committed himself, which are, the reason why he's being held in this psychiatric hospital. And, after Ricky tells the psychiatrist about all these murders he's committed, he kills the psychiatrist, he escapes, and then he plans to go kill Mother Superior. So that is the basic plot summary. Jumping ahead here, I want to give a little backstory about the movie. Most people probably know this, but I thought I would mention it. So basically, for people who have not seen this movie, something notable about this movie is that it reuses like an exorbitant amount of stock footage from the original movie. So there approximately 30 minutes of stock footage from the original movie are used in this. So people who like if you watch the first one and then you watch this, you're like, what am I doing? I'm watching like the same movie over again. And you'll kind of be like questioning, like, what the heck is this? Really the sequel? Like, what's up with all this reused footage? So yeah, that's like a little jarring at first if you don't know, and especially if you watch these back to back. Like I watched I watched this one last night, and the previous night I watched the first film. So it's pretty much like I watched the first movie twice, because of all that stock footage. But anyways, the reason why there's so much stock footage used in this is because the filmmakers were initially told to just re-edit the first movie and pass it off as a sequel or re-release, but then the director is like, that's total BS. I'm not gonna do that. Like we have to film like a something new. We can't just re-edit the first movie and pass it off as a sequel. That's ridiculous. Like people aren't, that's not gonna fly. People aren't gonna just, go out, be like people aren't that dumb, people aren't gonna go out and pay for the same movie just re-edited. So the director demanded that a new film should be shot, but they didn't have the budget to, create an entirely new story. So that's why they kind of came up with this idea to do the whole setup where Ricky is recalling like all the events of the first movie to the psychiatrist to kind of pad out the runtime with the stock footage, so that they didn't have to create, like, even though they did create a new story, like they didn't have to film 90 minutes worth of of a new film. So yeah, because like the reason, when they're talking about like budgetary constraints, the budget on this was considerably lower than the first film. So this is all from the internet. So it's like when you look up like a celebrity's net worth, like the internet isn't really accurate with that stuff. So who knows? But going off the internet, that's all I have to go off. It says that the budget for the first film was $750,000, and the budget for this was $250,000. So, I mean, that is considerably lower. Just $250,000 is I mean, 750,000 is low budget. 250,000 for, you know, feature film is nothing. Of course, there's independent people who will do a movie for 100,000, or, you know, even less. You could do like a micro budget film, but you know, if they're doing it all like union and they got to pay this person and that person, I could see where, you know, 250,000 is nothing. So they had to do what they had to do. But I'm glad that this film exists, and it wasn't just a recut version of the first film, because all of the new stuff that we get in this is absolutely gold. So yeah, I absolutely love it. But before I get into talking about the new footage, I actually want to talk about one piece of recycled footage in this, because I forgot to mention this in my review for the first Silent Night Deadly Night. But basically they reused that footage of you know, like the whole like Sled Hill sequence, and I forgot to say this in my review of the first Silent Night Deadly Night, but I just thought that line of dialogue that the kid said was so strange. You know, he's like, I'm paraphrasing, so I'm probably butchering this, but you get the gist. So the one kid is like, "Oh, this hill's virgin," and the other kid is like, "Yeah, that's the only kind you're gonna get." Like which doesn't make sense. That's not a burn to say that he's gonna, like, it would have made sense if he said, "This hill is virgin." Yeah, like you're a virgin, but he says that's the only kind you're gonna get. So he's still saying that this guy's like gonna, you know, hook up with some ladies. He's not, like, that's not really a burn to say that, cause that he's gonna get with virgins. It would have been a burn if he said that he is a virgin. So the first time, like when I saw that when I was watching the original Silent Night Deadly Night, I thought that line was really weird, and then you know, after rewatching that sequence again in this movie, I was like, yeah, this I gotta mention this, because it doesn't make sense. You know, it's not like, that's not like, you're not flaming them by saying that. Like, oh, this hill's a virgin. Yeah, that's the only kind you're gonna get. Like, I feel like virgins are like sought after, so that's almost like a compliment. You know, like, it's like the one kid, Telly in Kids, like, he only wants to get with virgins. Like, that's kind of like yeah, like, it's like a sought after thing, especially when you're like that age or whatever. But then he's like, I don't know, he's like trying to flame him, like saying, "Oh, virgins are all you can get." Like, they should have wrote it different. Like, they should have just said, "Oh, this hill's virgin. Yeah, like you." Boom, done. But yeah, I had to mention that. It was kind of weird, but it's all good, because that was a beautiful sequence anyway, so I'm not tripping. But I just I forgot to mention that in my first in my review of the first Silent Night Deadly Night. And, you know, since this reused all the stock footage, it's a perfect time to mention that, because it's in this movie too. So there you go. But anyways, jumping into my review of Silent Night Deadly Night Part 2, the reason why I like this is because it's like a so bad it's good movie. You know, the first one had a very serious tone, a very dark tone. This movie you can't take seriously at all. It's like inferior to the first film in like a ton of ways, but it works as a so bad it's good, you know, crazy, silly, goofy movie. Like, it's entertaining. At the end of the day, this movie is entertaining and it's memorable, And I quote this movie at least once a week. Like, I swear, I quote it at least once a week. But anyways, the actor who played the main character, Ricky, this guy absolutely killed it. Like, every line of dialogue that comes out of his mouth it's like pure gold. It's like this guy's like an alien, and he doesn't know how to, like, he doesn't know how to speak human, and he's like just learning. He's like pretending to be a human. Like, like his dialogue is so off. His delivery, his you know, his cadence. It's completely wacky. And I mean, I guess maybe his character is supposed to be a little wacky, but like this guy, like, his delivery is just bizarre. And you got to get into the garbage day line. That's the best line in the entire movie. I quote it at least once a week. Every garbage day, I got to say, garbage day. I love that line so much. Like, I say this line so much in my life. I love it. Like, that entire sequence. That sequence where he's just on that crazy massacre in the suburbs. That sequence, it is so good. Like, even if, you know, like, even though some parts of the movie drag and, you know, there is like a lot of reused footage, I think the entire movie is worth watching just for that sequence alone. Like, that sequence is gold. It's so good. He's just like murking fool. He's shooting people. They're like flailing around. They fall like all dramatically, and then he's got this like crazy maniacal laugh. It's the weirdest laugh. He's like, it's like the most unnatural laugh ever. It's great. But yeah, that garbage day line is great. My old manager and I, we used to say that every time we would take out the trash. Basically, he didn't even know about this movie, but he knew about that line from some like bad movie iceberg video. So every night when we would take out the trash, we would say garbage day. And then yeah, that was like my old manager. He no longer works where I work, but I have this like newer coworker, and basically she's into like B movies and bad movies. She put me on to Neil Breen recently. So I mean, that's what's up. Neil Breen rules. But like she hasn't seen this, but she knows about it. So like we'll just like cause she knows about like The Room and Neil Breen and stuff like that. So she knows the garbage day line. She knows, you know, she's probably seen clips of it. So whenever I'm working with her and we're taking out the trash, we say garbage day to each other. But you know, we say it like garbage day. So I love that line. It's the best line in the movie. Very iconic. But like pretty much every line of dialogue that comes out of Ricky's mouth, it is memorable. Like I got a couple honorable mentions, but there's this one where the psychiatrist, Dr. Bloom, he's like, "Do you dream, Ricky?" And then Ricky's like, "I don't sleep." And then he's always, you know, he's referring to Dr. Bloom as Doc. He's like, "Fuck off, Doc." And then he'll let me see. Oh yeah, "Going too fast for you, Doc." And then there's this one too. "You in a hurry? You in a hurry, Doc? Am I wasting your valuable time?" Like, that's how he delivers his lines. So, yeah, the character of Ricky was absolutely awesome. Just his crazy maniacal laugh, him saying garbage day, him just interacting with this psychiatrist. It was great. So I love all this. Like, Ricky is a fantastic character. I love him. Super entertaining. But yeah, now, like, I mainly just wanted to talk about Ricky. Like, other than Ricky and the massacre scene, there's not much to the movie, because it's not like a movie. It's not like a serious slash film. It's not something that you can really take seriously, but you're just watching it for Ricky, because he's just crazy. So I wanted to talk about Ricky. Since it is a slasher movie, I'm going to talk about kills as well, and then I'm going to peace out. So to be honest, the kills in this, they were just okay. The practical effects were definitely a lot worse. You know, like the lower budget did show. But one kill, like my favorite kill in the movie is Ricky like stabs an umbrella through this guy. That kill was super creative, and it actually looked really good. And then another kill that I really liked is Ricky kills this one guy with he puts like a jumper cable in his mouth and electrocutes him. I think it's really creative. It looks extremely fake, and like the guy's mouth is like wide open before, like he's just waiting for it. So like he didn't like close his mouth and try to fight it. He's just like, you're gonna put a jumper cable in my mouth? Here, let me make it easier for you. Let me open my mouth. It's like when you go to the dentist and you're like opening your mouth as wide as possible to make it easier for them. That's what this guy did. He's like, oh, you're trying to kill me with the jumper cable? Let me make it easier for you. Let me open wide. Is that better for you? So yeah, that kill was like, I actually thought it was creative, but it was kind of funny too, because like I said, he just has his mouth wide open, just ready for the jumper cables, and then it switches to a fake head, and it's the fakest head. It looks like some paper mache thing, like it looks like some class project head that you would make like out of clay. It looks terrible, but in the best way. So yeah, those two kills were standouts for me, but the rest of the kills were just, they were okay. I mean, that whole massacre scene when he's just shooting fools left and right, that's awesome, because they just, like I said, they go flying, they got their arms flailing, it's great. Like, there's this car that's driving, he shoots the driver and the car explodes, that's pretty cool too, but yeah, I guess, I guess the kills, they're decent in this, but yeah, they're definitely not as iconic as the kills in the first movie. So yeah, that was the last thing that I wanted to mention. So now I'm going to jump into my recommendation and head out. So yeah, like I have said a couple times throughout this review, I'm a big fan of Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. I think it's a great, so bad it's good movie. I think it's very memorable. I think it's very entertaining. Yeah, some of the some parts drag, and you do have like a lot of just reused stock footage from the first film, so that might turn people off. But like, I personally would recommend watching the whole movie, but if it doesn't sound like your cup of tea, at least look up some clips on YouTube. At least look up the Garbage Day clip. If you're not familiar with it, you gotta at least see that clip. So I would recommend it, but if you don't want to check it out, at least watch some clips. So that is my little recommendation, and that has been my review of Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.